Thank you for joining me today on the Who God Says podcast. I am your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Tyshaundra. Hi, hi, hi.
Hello.
Hello. Today we have a special guest. She is a real estate investor, insurance agent, the owner of Trust Is You, and a representative of the law firm, Sally Gimon. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. We have so much to talk about.
I, I want to help as many U.S. business owners, U.S. 1099 income earners, and U.S. investors save taxes. So for you to have me on your podcast, I appreciate that.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about. As I just shared, I've been in the tax industry for over 10 years, and there's a lot that people don't understand. And I'm sure I don't know everything. I will never take the approach that, oh, I've been in this industry for years. I know everything. I don't. I'm sure I don't. Um, I've had a tax practice for 8 years now,
Wow.
and I worked for a few different franchises, but I was a manager at Liberty Tax Service and I taught tax school there. Um, and I'm an enrolled agent with the IRS. So I've been an enrolled agent. I'm not a CPA. I refuse to be a CPA. I was like, I did not want to do any audits. That was my whole thing. I was like, I am not doing any audits. I am not doing it. Um, but yeah, I've been a tax professional and bookkeeping professional for over 10 years now.
Excellent. And a lot of bookkeepers or accountants are like, I've never heard of this. I think you're lying. And I'm like, it is in the IRS tax code 643B, like Bravo. The rich know about it, and I want everyone should know about this. It's not taught in school.
Yes. I want to start by asking you, where did you grow up? And did you always want to get into real estate?
Great question. I'm a military brat, so I moved a lot. True story that happened to us. My parents had a house in Phoenix. They moved. My dad got transferred and had to go to graduate school. They had to keep the house for 5 years. Have you ever been to Phoenix, Arizona?
No.
There's a tunnel from 7th Street to 7th Avenue for I-10, and they couldn't sell
Mm.
their house for 5 years, and it affected us. But because my parents had this house, we lived in an apartment, and it always was in the back of my mind because my parents didn't know if they were going to lose their house to eminent domain or not. Thank God
Yeah.
they went a mile south of where the house was, but it was always in the back of my mind. And when I started becoming a real estate investor, I was always concentrating about this.
Mm, that's crazy. Why did they have to keep the house for 5 years? Was it a part of like their mortgage, the program they
Correct.
were on?
They were the federal government was trying to decide where they were going to put this tunnel, and they had, if you know Phoenix, it's a block system, and they had announced these 3 blocks where the tunnel was
Hmm.
going to go through, and they were the most northern part of the block, and eminent domain.
Yeah.
It means the government can take over, or someone can take it over, and you have no say in it. So
Yeah.
nobody would buy the house, and you know my dad went to graduate school at Pittsburgh University. Then we moved to New Jersey, and it was we were no longer in Phoenix, and they couldn't sell the house, if that makes sense. So
Mm,
the real estate was discussed a little bit. Real estate was a topic in my house a lot.
wow. That's, that's awesome though. That seed was planted, sounds like early on.
Okay.
That's awesome. Okay. Okay. And then you're also an insurance agent. Is it life insurance? Is it health? What is it?
Originally, when I got laid off, I was director of research for Monster.com, and I was living in Massachusetts. And when
Mhm.
I was moving to Phoenix, um, I don't know if you know USAA, the military insurance company. The
Mhm.
person who helped me change my insurance, she's like, "Oh, we're hiring. If you come to USAA, I'll split my." They were giving $2,500 signing bonus,
Yeah.
and I needed a job because I was laid off, and I started off at PNC, and while I was
Okay.
at USAA, they did get us licensed for health, life, and accident too. So I do have everything. And between you and me, I will never take that test again. I passed it once, and that's enough.
That's the same thing. Well, I have life insurance in Louisiana, and that's the same thing I said. I was like, I'm just not taking the test again. I'm going to make sure I keep the license. I'm not taking the test again. And one of my mentors, Mr. Kevin Veal, he has his own brokerage, Premier Health Brokerage, and he was like, "You need to go get the health, and then we're going to work on the PNC." And I was like, "I'm like, okay."
To tell you the truth, PNC is easier than the life insurance. Life insurance, they
Oh my
trip up the
goodness.
words, but PNC's very straightforward. So
Yeah,
don't, if you can pass a life, you should do well with the property and casualty.
yeah. I want to do PNC anyway because I want to start offering it to my clients. Yeah, so they can have like a full package deal.
And the neat thing, I don't know about Louisiana, but my license out of Arizona is honored in like 50, honored in 14 other states.
Oh
So I can
wow.
write, like, I don't have to get the licensing. I want to say, and if I have the initials wrong, it's NPR, but it's very easy
Mhm.
to get licensing in all 50 states. At one time, I had Guam, Puerto Rico, and America Samoa, so I had 53 licenses.
Wow. Yeah, Louisiana is very different. Louisiana, you have to register and pay the fees, and sometimes they want you to take an exam, but I know that in Mississippi you don't have to. That's the only one I
Oh,
know
wow.
is Mississippi. You don't have to. I think it's like a $50 fee, and you just send in your registration information. You just register with the state of Mississippi. But if it's other states, Louisiana have to get their money, I guess.
Well,
I would
I
like to
wish
do
you well
Texas.
with it. I literally don't sweat it. Just the thing about property and casualty, you just like life insurance. You can only get back to where you were. You can't, like, if you've a $50,000 house, you can't build $1 million house if it burns down.
Right.
They won't let you do that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. You know what? We'll get all into the insurance thing. We'll get all into. Okay. Well, I want to go back to the real estate investing. When you started out in that career, did you go to college first, or was it just like, you know what? Let me just go straight into real estate school. How did that
True
happen?
story. I was working as a Medicare broker because of my insurance license. My friend Glenn, he knew I was doing tax liens in Maricopa County where Phoenix is. He knew about it and he invited me to a real estate meeting in August of 2018. And I said, Glenn, open enrollment's going to happen from October through December. I can't do anything right now because I'm going to work some crazy hours.
Right.
October 2018 happened. I couldn't get 2 dates off for my oldest nephew's wedding. I couldn't, my car got T-boned by a gentleman who didn't have insurance. And silly Sally had the paperwork for gap insurance sitting on her kitchen table. So her car didn't have gap insurance. So I was upside down by $8,000 on her brand new car. And third thing that happened, my mom and dad drove to the wedding. My mom got sick and she was on the ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital 15 months. And I was doing their mail because my dad stayed with my mom in North Carolina. And first week of December, there was a bill from Medicare, 27 pages thick. It was my mom's
Wow.
first statement, emergency room and being on the ventilator. It was $72,000, and everything was cared for because my dad was a military officer. But I'm standing in my parents' kitchen. I've got 2 car loans. I have a mortgage. I have student loans. I have credit card debt. Thank God my accident, I wasn't injured. I had $8,000 health insurance deductible. And I called Glenn saying, I need to change my life. And he's like, Sally, next Saturday, we're having a Christmas potluck. Bring some food and $5 gift. I bought a lavender candle. I regifted
Mhm.
myself because real estate investors are mostly men and they don't like lavender candles. So I got my own lavender candle back. And it changed my life. I mean, in 2019, still working full time as a Medicare broker, I wholesaled 7 properties. I paid off $184,000 in debt, and I was debt free.
Oh my God. That is amazing. Oh, I think I need to get into real estate. Praise God.
I'll give you, I'm not saying you have to join a real estate group, but I'm a member of a national real estate group. And, I, I've wholesaled so many properties, and I just put it into the real estate group saying, hey, here's the property, here's the information. And usually within 2 hours, I can sell a property super easy.
That is awesome. My pastor does wholesaling. He's a real estate investor as well. And I told him I need him to teach me. I was like, teach me how you do this. So he was like, I can teach you, no problem. I'm ready. I'm just waiting for him to
Excellent.
say, okay, I have the time because I'm
And
ready.
people are like, oh, the interest rates are high. I don't mean to say this rudely. There's always something to do. If you're a real estate investor, there's always an exit strategy that you can deal with.
Yeah.
My last house that I just won in an auction, nobody was buying it as a wholesale. I turned it into a seller financing house, and because I have the trust, when they put $20,000 down, they're paying me
Hmm.
$2,000 a month. I do have a bank loan for. I'll give you the numbers. I won it for $259,000. I have a bank loan. They're going to buy it for $310,000, and by the time I sell this November of 2025, I'm going to save $79,000 in interest income taxes because I have the spendthrift trust. I mean, that's
Wow.
amazing.
Yes. Oh my God. So I see we're going to be learning a lot today. Oh my God. Okay. Wait. Okay. So with the seller financing, do you have like terms where after a certain amount of time they have to pay it, pay
Correct.
you outright?
So their decision. She's a digital marketer, so she's a 1099 work from home, so they could not
Hmm.
get a loan. So
Right.
when they purchased the house in November of 2023, 2023, they put $20,000 down. They can't
Mm.
get that back. They're paying
Hmm.
$2,000 a month. The
Hmm.
price to sell the house, I don't know if it's going to go up in appreciation or down in depreciation, but 2 years, November of 2025, they're going to pay $310,000. So the house per Zillow, I don't know if you count that or not, says it's 365,000. They're getting it 310. They're going to
Hmm.
take off. God, I'm not good with math. They're going to take off $44,000 off the house, so they should be able to afford get a loan. So
Yeah.
November of 2025, she's got three options: either get her own loan,
Hmm.
pay me another $20,000, stay there for another 2 years, paying $2,000 a month that she's the homeowner,
Wow.
or third option, move out. I still have a house that's been, got, well, almost paid
Wow.
off, and I just do it
Yeah.
over again. And, her husband's working as a W 2 income earner. She's a digital marketer. They're making great money, but the banks just won't work with her. I mean, I think that's a
Yeah.
sad statement.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens a lot. A lot, especially when there's at least one person that is self-employed and they're a
Correct.
1099. Yep, it happens a lot. A lot.
Correct. And, at the time they had moved down from Long Island, so they moved to the Charlotte area. The banks are like, you just moved. Your husband got moved here because of work. We can't count your income. And she's like, I'm making good money. And,
Yeah.
they've got two kids. When they walk through the house, she's just like, this could be ours. I'm like, this could be yours. And, there's contracts for them to fill out. And what I love about it, if the hot water breaks, it's their problem, not my
It's
problem.
their
If
problem. Yep.
they have to call the bug inspector, they're the homeowner. I'm the owner of on the paper. They're the
Hmm.
homeowner of record, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it makes sense to me. I hope the listeners can follow along. But yeah, yeah. I tell
Correct.
my clients all the time, the banks want you. We call it bankable. You have to be bankable. On paper, you have to be exactly what they want. It doesn't matter if you have to show them proof. They need to see that on paper. When I was
Correct. And, she
21
showed me all
years
the
old.
paperwork they turned into the bank, trying to get a
Mhm.
loan. And she's like, I just can't. And I'm like, you know, if you make your payments on time, they have a 5-day grace period. If they're late, if they don't make their payment on time, they lose their down payment and they have to move out. they pay me on time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good for me. It's good for her. It's good for her husband, her two kids. I mean, we're all doing something good.
Yeah. When I was 21, I wanted to buy a house. I was in Atlanta, and um I was making really good money. I used to sell jerseys from my house, and I would just there was a store in downtown Atlanta, and I would order the jerseys and bring them to the store, and a guy would buy them. He had like one of those I don't know what you call it. He sold all kind of stuff out of his store, clothes and cologne and all kind of everything. And I would bring them to him, and he would buy them all. Like he would buy them wholesale. And I was making really good money at 21 years old. I had
Excellent.
$40,000 saved at 21 years old.
Wow.
And I wanted to buy a house. And I talked to three different mortgage companies. I don't even remember. I know one of them was Quicken Loans, but I don't remember the other two. I think one of them was Wells Fargo. But they were like, you are so focused for a 21-year-old, but you don't have the credit. At that time, I didn't know anything about like having my credit together and all of that. And then also when they asked me for my bank statements, I wouldn't keep any money in the account. So the money would go in the account, but I would take it out. And I'm like, I have the money. I just don't want it sitting in the account for anybody else to take it out.
Correct.
But that's when I started learning about being bankable and being on paper exactly what they need. It was
Correct.
a
I mean,
hard road, but at 21, I started learning early.
excellent. And that's what people don't know. You have to listen to the banks, and not to say this, but what you were doing, where the gentleman's wholesaling to you, and then you're making money with the business trust. You're paying both state income taxes and federal taxes, and that's what the business trust. You'll save at least 90% on your federal income taxes, and no longer pay state income taxes. It's an amazing thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I, my tax rate, where I got in trouble, my tax rate went from 22% up to 24%. And all of a sudden, I owed the federal government a lot more money than I had saved.
Yeah.
I was completely debt free. I had to turn around and take a HELOC out, which defeats the purpose of being debt free. And I was mad, and it was the middle of COVID. And I'm like, I wasn't driving an hour to work and an hour home. 2 hours of freedom. I mean, whoa, I got all this time. I started researching the Rockefeller Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. And, you know, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies made sure this was in the IRS tax code, went into effect in February of 1913. Well, if they can save
Mm,
taxes, why can't you and I save taxes? And that's
yes.
why I'm trying to teach as many people as possible. I mean, you know, it's a taboo subject. People don't like to talk about taxes and death, but
They
it's
don't.
important.
So, how long has it been since you've been a representative at the law firm?
I started my trust in September of 2000. I started teaching in my real estate group about the beneficial spendthrift trust. Do you know who Bob Proctor was? He was
Bob Proctor?
a guru, Proctor Gallagher Institute. I'm a student of Thinking to Results. So my coach, Susan Maas, said, "You're playing small. I need you to start your own business and start helping business people." And I joked with
Wow.
Susan. I'm like, "Tell me to lose 10 pounds. It'll be so much easier." But I started the Trust as You in March of 2022. Now I'm doing public speaking. I'm helping business people. Today's
Yeah.
post is a husband and wife who have an auto body shop in New Jersey. We're saving them
Wow.
$37,350 a year in federal and state income taxes. Bill's 47 years old. They have three grown children. None of them want to be an auto mechanic. He's turning away business because he's got too much business and everything else. So he's taking this money he's saving, going to the high school, getting two people. He doesn't care if it's a high school girl or a high school boy, to teach them how to be auto mechanics so he can bring in more business, save more money, and $37,000 a year. That's life
Smart
changing for
man.
people.
Yes. Yes. It absolutely is. Oh God, that's smart man. Yeah. Smart man. Oh my God. Then he gets all kind of tax deductions by hiring the kids from the high school.
Exactly.
Wow.
And again, with you being a working with the IRS, I appreciate you having me on the show because so many people are like, this is so wrong. And I'm like, it's the Spendthrift Trust has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on two different occasions. I mean, it's as legal can be. And,
Yes.
you know, somebody I'm working with right now, I'm sorry, I'm going back to my notes because I don't remember these numbers well. I'm dyslexic, but he's a used car salesman, and I'm talking to him, and I told him we're going to save him $63,289 for a full year. His wife pops up,
Mm,
it's on Zoom. She goes, "I don't care about a year. How much are you going to save me in the month of June?" I'm like, "Oh, $5,274," and she's like, that's more than we spend in a month. They've got their mortgage, they got well, their cars are paid for, but they got three kids, and she's just like, honey, tell her to send us the contract. We'll fill it out because an extra $5,000 a month, that's life
right.
changing, and he's already making the money. How much more can he make, and how much more can he save? If that makes sense.
Yes. Yes. She said, "How much can you save me in the month of June?" Okay. Okay, about the year, but how much can you save me in the month of June? Okay,
Correct.
mama.
And quite frankly, she changed the whole way I look at things because I usually say, "Hey, this is how much you'll save in a year," but it does make
Hmm.
sense. She goes, how's it gonna affect my bottom line when I go to the grocery store?" I'm like, That's important."
Yes. Yeah. Especially mamas. We gotta know. We gotta know is it gonna affect this month? Is it gonna
Oh, sorry.
yes, we gotta know. Is it bringing anything in? Is it yeah. We can tell she's a
Yeah,
mom.
correct. And this is something that the super rich know about.
Yep.
I'm in a JV directory. It's a mastermind group. One of
Hmm.
the gentlemen who's in the group, his girlfriend works for a Manhattan law firm that won't even talk to you, talking about you didn't have any money in your bank account. You have to prove you have $8 million in your bank account. I'm like, why would you have that much money in your bank account when it's not
Oh,
FDIC
it's
insured? I
not
mean, I would
insured.
have
I
different
wouldn't have
bank
it in that.
accounts. And to give you an idea, if someone is in real estate, they fix and flip or wholesale a house and make $50,000 on a deal. At 22%, they'll save $11,000. At
Hmm.
24%, they'll save $12,000. You do that twice in 1 year, the trust is paid for, and you can
Oh,
keep saving money year after year, and then generation after generation. It's I want to help as many people as possible.
Starting and growing a business while dealing with your finances can be overwhelming and stressful. Emerald Services provides packages tailored to your business needs to help you mitigate taxes, stay compliant, plan for your future, and save money so you can focus on being the creative, influential visionary that delivers your dreams to the world. Because what you focus on is what will multiply. Schedule your discovery call today to find out ways Emerald Services can benefit your life plan and your business plan. Visit emeraldserve.com or call 504 603 6059.
oh, it's music to my ears. Like you brought up that you're dyslexic. I am as well. And a lot of people did not know because I chose to go in the field with numbers. But I learned, I kind of figured it out when I was younger because I would have a problem remembering like something easy, like my phone number. I could not remember my grandmother's phone number for the life of me. I was like, I know it, but I couldn't call it back in the order. It would
Well,
be
if
all
you,
over the place.
Tashandra, if you try to give me your phone number right now, like repeating it out loud, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, that's one of the hardest things for me to do." But I mean, I know my limitations, and
Mhm.
I'm going to say this: if both of us are dyslexic, we find out ways to work around it. So
Yeah.
we're using we're using our power for that.
Yeah. What helped me when I was in school was music. I loved music. So I'm a great tester. I can take exams. And what I would do was I would try to remember the sequence of the numbers to music. to a beat that I have in my head. And so I would
Wow.
remember, and I still do it to this day. If I'm filing a tax return or doing numbers or anything, I do it to a beat so that I can remember the sequence of the numbers. And like you said earlier, the numbers flip up and down, like the nines and the sixes. Yeah, they do. They flip up and down. So
Oh,
yeah, I dealt with it too.
the reason I don't change, I moved from Phoenix, Arizona to Charlotte, and I haven't changed my phone number because when I got my phone number, it was had sixes, nines, threes, and eights. I mean, those are evil numbers because eights and threes switch up, and I'm like, I've memorized this number. I'm keeping this number. So
Yep. Oh my God. You said those are evil numbers. Yeah.
I shouldn't give power to those numbers, but yeah, I know my limitations, and
Yeah.
like I didn't memorize those numbers I wanted to give you. I had to look in my book because I'll give you the wrong numbers, and I don't want to do that. So yes,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Always have I always have something near me to write, especially when it has to do with numbers, because I'm going to write it down. You could have just told it to me, but I'm gonna write it down, and it's gonna be right there. I can't just hear you say, like you said, a phone number, and then I walk off. I won't remember what you just said. I mean, I can say them
yes,
out loud, but it won't be right. You can tell it to me and say, "Repeat this back to me."
and
Hold the hat.
trying to teach some, they tell us when you're trying to learn to read that it's English language is made up of so many other words in English language. So yeah, I don't know about
Mhm.
you, but I was in fourth grade when I got tested to be dyslexic, and it wasn't just a light bulb going off, it was fireworks. I'm like, I'm not stupid, and I just have to learn a different way. It was amazing.
I've never been tested. I was actually told, like I knew there was an issue when I was young, when I was in school and I couldn't remember my phone number. I was like, I know it. And then I started noticing things. And like I said, I started kind of remembering it to music. When I got to college, I was in Southern University of New Orleans, and one of the TAs pointed it out to me, and he was like, I think you're dyslexic. And I was like, no, I'm not. He was like, yeah, I think you're dyslexic. He was like, it's okay. And then I found out that my father was dyslexic as well. And my grandmother, um, she said that back in that time, nobody really worked with the kids. They just passed them to the next grade, or just got rid of them. But he was an athlete, so I was like, oh, it makes sense. He was an athlete. They just passed him off to the next grade. But yeah, I didn't really kind of get someone else to say you're dyslexic until I was in college, and he was like, "Do you want to be tested?" I was like, "No."
Well, true story. My fourth grade teacher. I don't know if you. When I write, I would lean on my left arm to write straight, and she's like, "That's my." She had school. My dad was traveling, so it was just a teacher meeting with my mom, and she said, "I think your daughter might be dyslexic," and my mom's like, "I think she is,"
Wow.
and she goes, "Do you mind if we have her tested?" And so I'm older than you are. This is 1976. We went across the river to Philadelphia, and they were amazed because I was the first female dyslexic they ever had. So I'm in the MAM. I'm like, my brother's dyslexic too. You want to test him? But at the time they thought only boys were dyslexic. I'm like, nope,
Oh
nope, I'm dyslexic.
wow.
I'm okay with it.
You know what? I did used to lay. I would write all the time laying down, but nobody caught it. I don't. I mean, nobody caught it. My teacher used to just tell me to get off the desk. Like, you can get up off the desk. Don't write like that. You can't concentrate when you lay down. Your brain is gonna think you're going to sleep or something. Like, yeah. So I did. I used to write like that all the time.
Yeah,
Doing homework, everything, I would lay down and write. I don't think I knew that I was doing it to write straight on the paper.
that,
I didn't
I
think
didn't know it
I didn't
either.
pick that up either.
Have
Hmm.
you ever read? It's an older book. Have you ever read a book, Flowers for Algernon?
No.
up in the corner, it's a paperback, and up in the corner, there's words in it, and I don't want to give it away for you, but when I'm reading the book, I'm like, oh, I know what that says, and at the end of the book, it tells you what it says. I'm like, and the author was dyslexic, and he purposely put that in the book to show other people,
Wow.
there's some famous people who are dyslexic, and it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, my dyslexia has helped me build a tax practice. So
I'm amazed you
I
do taxes.
concentrate
That
extra
to me is,
hard.
I,
Yeah.
I wish you well
So
with that. I would want to do that because yeah, numbers change on me. When I was when I was in graduate school, I was taking a statistics class, and we had to show everything, and the professor called me in because I changed a 8 to a 3, and she saw exactly. She goes, "Have you ever been tested for dyslexia?" I'm like, "Oh, I am," and she's like, "Okay," and she gave me credit, but I messed up the problem. I didn't do the
yeah.
problem correctly.
Yeah. I mean, it helps me focus. Like I get to, I focus more. And I think that's why I care more than other people, especially in this field. And I also work for Intuit. I'm a senior expert bookkeeper for Intuit. And it's just like I pay attention to things because I don't want to miss it. I don't want to write the numbers backwards. I don't want to type something in the wrong. So I pay extra attention to things, and like we have the greatest team ever. But but the they're just like, well, how did you see that? How did you catch that? And it's like because I focus a little bit more than other people just to make sure I don't have things messed up. And then a friend of mine, his name is Randy, he has a convention staffing service, and I work with him all the time. He's an amazing boss. And then Joe, oh my God, Joe Dupart, Good Look Creative, like he's an amazing boss as well. And they're just like, I wish I had 10 more of you, Tyshaundra. Can I have 10 of you? And it's just like I pay attention to things that I mean, I'm not gonna say everybody will miss it, but I just see it a little bit different. And so, hey, my dyslexia has helped me over the years.
But you're using your power. I mean, exactly. You're using better concentration. You know you have to concentrate. So good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's paid off. I want to get into the trust. So, what is the
Mhm.
difference between a beneficial trust and the business trust?
Great question. Now, just to give you a little bit background, 97% of the trusts sold every year are what's called the family trust or the living
Hmm.
trust. My mom and
Hmm.
dad had that. Susie Orman talks about that on TV. Only
Hmm.
thing the family trust does is avoid going through probate. Then it dissolves
Yes.
and goes away. This is not your
Yes.
mom and dad's trust. The business trust is for US business owners and US 1099 income earners, where they will save at least 90% on their federal income taxes. Because it's on the federal level, they will no longer
Hmm.
pay state income taxes. So my clients are saving 4, 5, 6 figures in taxes every year.
Yeah.
You do you work in an EIN or do you work in a LLC or a S corp right now?
Yes. LLC.
So your EIN or your employee identification number, you're going to
Hmm.
get a new one, open up a new bank account. That the money's going to go into the new bank account. You're going to pay your bills out of that new bank account. Start saving the money. The beneficial trust is for any and all investors. The five taxes you no longer pay are short-term and long-term capital gains on profits,
Mm.
interest income taxes on passive investing, creative financing, subject to real estate. I personally have notes, things like that.
Hmm.
Third one, dividend income taxes. If you're in the stock market, a day trader, options trader, futures trader, binary options trading. Third one is going to be rental income taxes. If you're a real estate investor, yes, you can take depreciation. Yes, you can do cost averaging, but still, you'll pay no, keep your information private. You'll pay no judgments if you get sued. And then the last tax you'll save is royalty income taxes. So if you are an actor, an actress in the NFT world, have copyrights, patents, anything like that. And Paul Benson, who wrote these trusts 76 years ago, was a Harvard law professor. He knew what he was doing. In
Yeah.
76 years, it's never been audited. And now his grandson and great grandson have the law firm, and they they hire people like me. Like I'm a independent contractor for them
Hmm.
because they don't want to deal with, I post something on TikTok and people are like, "You're a liar. This isn't true." I'm like,
Oh
it's
my
been in front of the
God.
U.S. Supreme Court on two separate occasions. Go away if you don't want to believe me. But I have clients who are saving thousands of dollars. I mean, one of my clients here in the Charlotte area, mom and pop pizzeria, two locations, making $15,000 a month, $180,000 a year. What they did, they started in February of 2023. The money they saved in 2023, they opened up a third location.
Whoa.
They're going to save the money in 2025. They're going to open up a fourth location. And
Okay.
when they retire in 2035, they'll leave two pizzerias to one child, two pizzerias to another child, no inheritance tax because of the spendthrift trust. And then their
Mhm.
kids will continue. I shouldn't call them kids or adults. They will continue to save 1099 income over and over again. I mean, it's my clients when they I give them information, like when you go out to my free course on the Great Discovery, my name. There's three
Hmm.
articles from Forbes magazine. There's a chart. You know this as being working for the IRS. Taxes are between 10% to
Hmm.
37%, seven different layers. And there's
Hmm.
four ways to file your taxes: single, head of household, married jointly, married separately. Single's the most
Hmm.
expensive way of filing. I'm single and I hate it. I got divorced. So um, the chart shows if you're making $80,000 in every 50 states. So like South Dakota, Nevada, Texas, and Florida, they don't have state income taxes.
Yeah.
But Hawaii, Oregon, New York, California do. And you can see if you're filing single how much you'll save. And if you make more than $80,000, you'll save even more money than that. And,
Yeah.
it's an amazing thing. I wish I'm on podcasts because so few people know about this. It's not taught in school or anything.
Yeah. They wouldn't have it taught in school. Why would it be taught in school? That would make it readily available to the masses. We can't teach that
It's
in school. And people
exactly.
are crazy. Why, if you don't have the information, instead of researching and finding the information, they're like, oh, you're a liar. But everybody got mad because Donald Trump didn't pay taxes. Well, why didn't he pay taxes? How did he not pay taxes?
That's a
Instead of
question you should be
looking for the
asking. Yes.
information. Yes, how? I want to know how. When they were
Yes.
going all in the uproar about, oh, he didn't pay taxes, I said, well, how? I want to know what he did to not pay taxes.
And I don't know how old you are, but several years ago there was all this protest up around Wall Street about the one percenters. I'm like, don't protest the one percenters. Find out how they became a one percenter. I mean, and quite
Right.
honestly, Shonda, I followed the breadcrumbs. I mean, I read an article about the Rockefellers. I spent 5 months researching this as much as I could, and in 2022 and 2023, I have three online businesses. I saved 92% in federal income taxes and didn't pay North Carolina state income taxes. I mean, if I can do this, anybody else should do this.
92%?
And if you research, if you go out and Google tax code 643B, there is an opinion letter from the IRS, but the IRS can't change the tax code. Only Congress can change the tax
Yes.
code. And since
Mhm.
it's contract law, if they change the tax code, I can't sell any more trusts. But my business and my beneficial trust is a contract between me and the law firm. No one can break that.
Nobody can break it. Oh my gosh. Wow. My God. You know what? I knew it was going to be a good day today.
We're all over the map. This has been a fantastic conversation.
How would okay, if you have someone who's just starting out in business, how would you advise them to like start a trust? Should they start out in business and start receiving revenue first, or how would you advise them to
Correct.
start with the trust?
One of my clients, true client, she's a Etsy store owner. She started her Etsy store, and every single month she's making more and more money. So right
Hmm.
now, she's making about $11,000 a month, and she's just like, my taxes. Her taxes went from, she got laid off, so her taxes were at 10%, and now she's at 10%. I'm not good with tax. I have to look at the thing,
Oh,
but she's
yeah.
not making enough money. But she's 23 years old. I mean, if her Etsy store keeps improving and improving and improving, and she lives in California, so she's saving federal and state taxes, and she's just like, I don't care. She goes, she's on a, how do you say it, trajectory of increasing her
Mhm.
sales every single month, and it works. Another one of my clients, true story, she got laid off April 2000. Um, Single mom, 3 kids. She woke up the next day. She's drinking coffee, and her 2 dogs are fighting over a dog chew toy. She's watching the 2 dogs fight over this toy, and she's like, "Why don't I start selling dog chew toys on Amazon?" Her store is worldwide. She's got all these, she ships these
Wow.
dog chew. I never knew there was so much money in dog chew toys. She's making so much money now. We're saving her over $43,000 a year in federal and state income taxes. And when I was going through it with her, she starts crying. She goes, "I worked in hospitality because I only had a high school diploma. I'm going to use this
Yeah.
money and put it into college funds for her 3 kids, and they can go to school and learn anything they want." I mean, it's her decision. It's her money.
Yes.
She can do
Yep.
what she wants with it. And I mean, for her to be saving that much money, she must be selling. I know how much she makes, and I'm like, that's a lot of money. Forty-two thousand
Yes.
dollars is a second income for people.
Oh, yes. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So I don't care if you're brick and mortar, like
Mm-hmm.
pizzerias or auto body shops, your online stores. Another person I just worked with. Do you know anything about digital marketing?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, she's in Texas. Her husband makes
Okay.
$75,000 a year, makes good money, but they have 3 young kids. She started digital marketing, and in the first 5 months of 2024, she made $100,000. And so I told her,
Wow.
your tax rate went from 12% up to 22%. So just the federal
Hmm.
taxes, I'm reading my notes, so I have to apologize. They went from $8,536 to $28,606. I mean, she's selling, she's doing good. I mean, but her taxes change. If she continues to do so well, her taxes will go up to 24%. So for the first year, we're going to save her $10,895 because I can't help what she did already, the first five
Yeah.
months of 2024. And she's just like, "Can I bring my husband home from work?" I'm like, "You keep selling like you're doing? Why not?" They have 1 kid in elementary school, 2 kids still at home. And she's just like,
Hmm.
this is what she tells me because she wants me to start doing digital marketing. She works 2 hours a week and she makes really good money doing it. And I'm
Wow.
like, good for you. But and she called me just to find out about this because she's just like, how's this changing? And when I told her her taxes went up by over $20,000, her
Hmm.
eyes got huge. She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you make more. The more money you make, the more you pay in taxes. Unfortunately."
Yes. Yes. Yep. Yep. And I have clients that's always telling me, "Well, how do I not pay taxes? Can I just not pay them?" I say, "Well, there are ways you cannot pay taxes, but it's
There are legal ways not to pay them. I mean,
legal. They're
yes.
avoiding, not evading taxes." And it was like, "Well, what's the difference?"
Well,
Well,
I,
evading is illegal.
evading is illegal. The first page of the IRS tax code, it says it's up to each individual to save as much money as they can.
Yeah.
Um, you were asking me about real estate. Do you know about 1031 exchange?
Yes. Hmm. Yes.
True story. A 1031 exchange is when you take like property for like property, you sell it, and then buy another, like single family home, another single family home, apartment
Hmm.
building, another apartment building.
Yep.
I have talked to at least 15 grown adults whose parents are incapacitated. Maybe they had a stroke, maybe they had a heart attack. They
Yeah.
didn't know they were doing a 1031 exchange, and all of a sudden, this humongous tax bill comes to them from the IRS. And I'm like, "You sold something and didn't keep a 1031 exchange going, and now all those taxes are coming back at you." And they're like, "What can I do?" And I'm like, I can't. This is
Yeah.
the trust. They don't come back. I mean, worst case scenario, let's say someone who's a real estate investor, their kids don't want to do this. There's no upkeep of the trust, but
Right.
maybe great grandchildren or great grandchildren will want to do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have well my dad's property, I was talking to my siblings about putting it into a trust and they were like, "Well, what does that mean?" I was like, "Well, that means we wouldn't be the owners first. Like we wouldn't." And they were like, "Well, what does that mean?" I was like, "I don't I need someone who can properly explain it to them because it's like in my head I know why I want to put it in the trust, but I can't get those words out of my brain to explain it to them." So how would you explain putting a property, even if it's a inherited property? How would you
Correct.
explain putting that property into a trust?
Huge problem with inherited property. You and your siblings are not on the title. When it's
Right.
your personal home, if you're married, you can claim $50,000 in long-term capital gains. If you're single, divorced, it's I'm sorry, 500,000, and if you're single, divorced, it's $200,000. If it's your own property. Now that it's an inherited property, it's like an investment property, and long-term capital gains more than a year are either 15% or 20%. So one of my clients, true story, he and his brothers built this restaurant 42 years ago. Husband and wife, Jim and Marianne, they're retiring. They're moving from Kentucky down to Florida. His son, December of 2023, saw my TikTok video. We got his father on the phone, and I'm explaining to him he's working with a business broker. Sam, the business broker's never heard of the trust. We put the restaurant in there. April 15th of 2024, he either saved $460,000 at 15% or $600,000 at 20%. Sam's like, I've got other clients and I have an affiliate marketing. Sam's making a second income, selling a business. I mean, that's life changing. I mean, because
Yeah.
they went from zero to $3 million and that's how much they're going to save. I mean, that's six figures for retirement. That's a lot of
Yes.
money.
That's a lot. Yes.
And it's
My
legal.
God. Yeah. It's legal. It's legal to avoid taxes. You put yourself in the best financial situations that help you, and it's totally legal. But if you are um committing fraud basically and you're evading taxes, that's where the illegality come into it. You cannot withhold income information. You cannot um it's a whole bunch of stuff. Have illegal activities. Even in IRS code, you have to pay taxes on illegal activities. I said,
Correct.
what?
Correct. You know, the bit, I don't know if you know this, January 24th, 2024 to 2023, the IRS changed the 2023 tax return. It says if you made money in crypto or NFT and you said yes, it opened up 10 more questions that people had to answer. And that only helped my business. I mean, when you sell crypto, you pay capital gains on that. So
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And those capital gains are a monster. They
correct,
are a
correct.
monster.
The beneficial trust is a solution for that.
I was like, how do you charge taxes on top of taxes? Like those taxes wasn't enough. Why?
Oh, it's amazing. You go to the movie theater, you pay taxes on the movie ticket. You pay taxes on your dinner. You pay taxes for the gas. I mean, I can't make you tax free. There's only certain taxes I can help you save.
Right. Can you tell us what's the circle of wealth and how can we use that?
The Circle of Wealth is a program that it's 5 steps. I've used all 5 steps. The first one is 2 questions from Procter and Gallagher. Can you do this? And are you physically able to do this? Step two, one time, $10, 3 recruits. It's an inverted pyramid. It's crypto, so it's capital gains, but you'll make $19,980. Third step is United Financial Services. Pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years, a 30-year mortgage in 5 to 7 years. Pay off an auto loan in 2 to 3 years. Remember, I had 2 car loans. I did velocity banking to do that. Fourth step is join my national real estate group if you like to. If you don't, no problem. And then fifth step is the trust. So if you could save the taxes on the gift giving tree or crypto tree, Or if you become a representative like I am for United Financial Services, that's 1099 income, and you can save the taxes there too. That's one of my online businesses.
Oh, wow.
And that, just to give you an idea, that's www.learn with Sally Marie. My older brother named me after a cat. My mom's from Ireland. Firstborn daughters have to be named Mary, so that's where my real name comes from.
Oh my God. Learn with Sally Marie.
.com, correct.
That's so cute. Your brother named you. That is cute.
No, that cat was mean. I still have scratch marks on my. Oh, that cat was mean. But my brother now owns 3 cats. Yes, he's a cat man.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Cat man. I didn't used to like cats, but now I do. I've had a few dreams about them. I'm like, you know what? They're not that bad. They're okay.
They're
So,
indifferent. A dog loves you no matter what. Cats are
yeah.
indifferent.
Yeah. I've been a dog person my whole life. But yeah, cats, their love is a convenience.
Yes.
They're ridiculous. Okay, I want to ask you one question I ask everybody. What do you believe is your purpose?
My purpose is to share my information with others. I could keep it secret and be happy, but I wouldn't sleep well at night.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Yep. I don't think anything that we acquire in this world is just for us. I think it's
Correct.
beneficial to us, but it's not just for us. We shouldn't hold it in. So I absolutely appreciate you for that. I do. Can you tell the audience where they can connect with you? I know you have your website listed and Learn with
Correct.
Sally
But
Marie.
learn with Sally Marie. And then Sally Gimon is one course on the Great Discovery. And then you'll also get the second course there too. I just want to, help people get out of debt. Do you know 80% of Americans have more than $90,000 in debt and are not saving 10% for retirement? Those are ugly, ugly numbers.
They
I was just
are.
at Walmart this weekend, and the greeter looked older than my father, and I'm like, no, my
Yeah.
dad wouldn't be working at that time.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I say I wish they wouldn't have to do it, but then I look at my mom and she doesn't know how to keep still. So I know that some people they want to be needed when they get up to that age and they want to still be active and still have a routine, but a lot of them have to work and that's heartbreaking.
I hurt my back. Standing for 6 hours would kill me. I mean,
Yeah.
I just can't imagine being a Walmart greeter at age 80. I'll say he was 80. I don't know how old he was.
Okay. Just devastating. Well, I want to thank you, Sally, for coming out and sharing all of your wisdom and all of your knowledge. Thank you so much for just being here and sharing with the audience. This has been great.
I
Everyone,
appreciate
please
you having
follow
me,
up.
Tyshaundra. I hope you and I can continue having a conversation afterwards. And please don't be embarrassed that you're dyslexic. We have a gift. That's what I think.
We have a gift. We have what other people's call a weakness. God uses that. So whatever He wants to break forth with me in this weakness, I am all for it. I don't rely on my own strength. I rely on the Lord. So whatever it is that He wants to come out of this, I'm here for it. I glorify Him day in and day out. So that's what I'm here for.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the Who God Says podcast with your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Tyshaundra. Go to whogodsays.com to join the mailing list for episode premieres, upcoming guests, and more. Send in your questions to be a part of the show at whogodsays@gmail.com. And don't forget, join the Kingdom Fanatic community. Until next time, be blessed and also be a blessing.